we started marketing direct, got a Carrot website. I remember one whole month of December, I was just like learning about how to do this template thing and writing it. And then my business partner would look at it and say, "Oh, that sounds terrible." We put pictures, getting that Carrot website set up. I didn't have website skills. So that was the great thing about Carrot is you didn't have to speak engineer. The two of us started creating a culture that we were really inspired by to do it. We were flipping a lot of the houses ourselves. Sometimes we would have an investor partner help us. And then, we grew from there. We're very successful, one of the bigger flippers in town. We're doubling every 2 years, which we really think is exciting and fun. So.
Hey friends, welcome back to the Evergreen Marketing Podcast, where we help you rank online. Today I have a guest with me. Her name is Laurel Sagen. She's been in business for over 25 years as a real estate investor. She's ranking number one for some really competitive terms in her market, in a large market, and she's done offline marketing, done some other marketing methods, and now she's getting consistent leads online. So we're going to talk about that. But also, more importantly, we're going to talk about how she managed to pass off what she knows to her team and how she's really scaled a team of 6 awesome people. So we're going to dive into it. I'm really excited for today's interview. Welcome to the podcast, Laurel. How you doing?
Hey, thanks a lot, Brad. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on the Carrot podcast.
Yes, the infamous Carrot podcast. Yeah.
Right. You can see I have carrots behind me. My team are big carrot gals. We give them carrot prizes when they do good things.
I love that. I love it. And the day we're recording this, April 4th, is International Carrot Day. So happy belated International Carrot Day to anyone listening.
Oh my goodness. So does that mean we should eat carrots or spare carrots?
I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I feel like maybe I should be drinking carrot juice out of my mug while we were recording.
Right. Probably should. Yeah.
Yeah. But Trevor and I are both allergic to carrots. So that wouldn't be very good for us. So
no, don't do that then. Yeah.
I'll stick to coffee and water.
Never heard anybody being allergic to carrots, but I suppose it's possible. So, wow.
Yeah, a lot of random allergies is not fun. But anyways, let's get into it. So you've been investing for over 25 years, you mentioned. Tell me a little bit about your backstory. And I get this sense, I've talked with you just a little bit. We're just getting to know each other, but I've talked with your team, and I get this sense that there's a little bit more to why you invest. There's a little bit of a passion for why you help people.
Mm-hmm.
You don't seem like a typical investor. So can you tell me about maybe where some of that passion, care for people comes from and how you got into this whole game?
I spent the first 15, 20 years of my career as a young adult in small businesses in Sacramento. And I was an outside salesperson. I went from business to business selling business supplies. And so I got to know the small business community and got really to know my community really well and was asked to participate in the nonprofit things. And then the next 20 years of my career, I was actually in social work and spent a lot of time in the nonprofit world, making a difference. And then turned to, believe it or not, a kind of random thing. I was always good at sales, and I became a technical recruiter for Y2K. And started investing in real estate because I had made so much money all of a sudden after having no money for most of my life, working for nonprofits. So it's like no money. So decided that we liked having money in the household. It was way better, but I knew that this Y2K thing wasn't going to last too long, and I didn't love it. So we started investing in real estate, bought some rentals, got killed in the 2009 downturn. Just totally killed. But I love the fixing up of the houses, not being a landlord. So we started flipping. And my business partner and I flipped over 500 houses before we started just through traditional means, using realtors to bring us deals and then relisting those deals with the realtors. Bought I don't know, during that 2009 to 2011, we probably bought 100 REOs. And fixed them up and sold them. We probably sold like 30 of them to Bay Area engineers with renters in them, right? We tried a lot of different business models. So it was, I've been doing it a long time now. I got my contractor's license and just love fixing up houses. And we moved our way up the
Yeah.
market to we were doing $1 million houses. And, you know, now we do
Really?
a lot of different things. And I don't actually do the fix ups anymore myself. I have teams and stuff like that now.
Yeah, but you still like the gratification, satisfaction of, like, seeing it from old house to new.
Right. And now, I don't know, it was about 7, 8 years ago. It was kind of interesting story. I was going in to do a walkthrough, before we closed. And there was
Mhm.
this elderly woman. She was in the middle of the living room and she was just weeping. She had a
Mm.
walker, and I was like, "Oh my god, sit down. What's wrong?" And her realtor had told her she had to have everything out of the house by Friday, and uh, or she wouldn't get her money. And she had no way of getting everything out of the house by Friday. And I was like, "Oh my goodness, no, no, no!" And I called one of my guys, and we started packing the stuff she wanted, and we took it to her new place. I said, "Don't worry about everything else. I'll donate it." Right. And it was kind of then that I like one more thing on the Campbell's back that I realized that real estate agents didn't necessarily have people's best interests in mind. And there's
Mm.
got to be a better way. And then we started marketing direct, got a Carrot website. I remember
Mhm.
one whole month of December, I was just like learning about how to do this template thing and writing it. And then my business partner would look at it and say, "Oh, that sounds terrible." We put pictures, getting that Carrot website set up. I'm a salesperson. I'm a social worker. I mean, I didn't have website skills. So that was the great thing about Carrot
Yeah.
is you didn't have to speak engineer. Um, and we were able to get that Carrot website up and start getting leads off the Carrot website. And I live in a place where there were a bunch of elderly women, and I put a bunch of them to work handwriting letters. I didn't know about, the postcard stuff or the printers. We were handwriting letters and mailing them off to people. To ask them if we could buy their house, and that's how we started. And I kind of love figuring out people's problems and you know figuring out how to get the deal done, not just for me, but so that
Yeah.
the house was a win. We call it a win-win-win-win. It had to be a win for us, a win for any of our investors, a win for the people we're buying the house for, and a win for the community. And
Mm.
we developed, and Dan and my business partner Dan and I just created. The two of us started creating a culture that we were really inspired by to do it. We started making some really good, even more money. We were flipping a lot of the houses ourselves. Sometimes we would have an investor partner help us, and that's where we started. And that was about, my God, I was 2015, 16.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
and then, we grew from there. Yeah. And
It's
now,
all uphill from there.
now we're very successful, one of the bigger flippers in town. And,
Yeah.
we do quite a few deals where, we're doubling every 2 years, which we really think is exciting, and fun. So, yeah.
It's a fast pace. I love
Yeah,
how you
it's
called it,
crazy.
yeah, that's a lot to keep up with. I love how you called it a win-win-win-win. I've heard win-win-win, but, adding on that community element, like, it has to
Mhm.
be good for the community. I think that's just awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I
Um,
really feel like the community gives us the opportunity to have a great business.
mhm,
And so we need to care for the community and do what's well for them. You know, it was an old
yeah,
story where we call it the hysterical society. It's a preservation department. Um, they
yeah,
would when we first started doing these higher end flips, these more exciting flips, the fun flips, like Squeaky Williams houses and string houses, and some of these famous architects. We would go in and redo that, and the preservation department wanted to see what we were going to do. And at one point, there was this very famous architect from the 20s called Squeaky Williams, and we bought one of his signature houses to rehab, and we wanted to make it like 3 times the size it was. And the
hmm,
neighbors were like up in arms before we even closed on the deal, right? There's these real estate investors, they're coming, they're coming. And then when the preservation department head came and saw it was us, she goes, "Oh, thank God." And she was, because she knew we were going to do beautiful work, and be true to the style of the home and listen to their input and stuff. And so we were able to, that again, our reputation. I walk in the community planning department. Everybody knows me. I don't have to prove I'm not trying to do something funny. A code enforcement officer, I call them on, hey, I'm about to buy this house. They go, thank God, like that. So that allows us to get things done quicker, and gives us opportunities. But also, our team is proud of us. And if you have a team that's proud of
Yeah.
you, it just works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, speaking of community, I would love to hear about kind of how you're involved in the community, a little bit more about your offline marketing, and find out what kind of niches you're into, how you build relationships in certain niches, and then maybe we can talk about how that feeds into online. I'd be curious to know if there's like any pivotal moments in your journey with Carrot where rankings went up, and kind of how you're. I know I'm asking three different loaded questions, but how
Like,
they're all
okay, you
kind.
want to talk like for 2 hours
Yeah,
here. Okay, well, let's
yeah,
start with what we're doing in the community. So, one of the things we saw about 4 years ago was that a lot of our clients are elderly, right?
yeah.
And some of them were needing to move into assisted living or independent living or memory care. And we really thought, well, maybe we can help with that. So I started going to visit some of the assisted living places to try to learn what they look for, what their issues are, how we could turn a house into care. That's one of our things is turning your house cash for care,
Mm,
and how we can make that work for people. And then somebody said, "Oh, you should go to the Elder Services Network." What's that? I never heard of the Elder Services Network. So we went to the Elder Services Network. We're now a big supporter of that. We support Laurel, which is for caregivers of people with memory issues or head injuries. We support the Adopt an Elder. So a lot of times, all that's between um, uh, an older person and homelessness is $200 to $300 a month. So there's
sheesh.
these we do fundraisers for and donate money to Adopt an Elder, where they adopt an elder, make sure that they have all the you know things from grooming, sweaters, socks, and a little bit extra money for their rent, and they adopt that elder for the rest of their life. And
Mm,
so we do a lot of that kind of outreach. And obviously it's really great for our social media. And um, we got a book out of it called Your Next Move, in which we talk about, and this is with Max Keller. We
mm,
kind of put some of our own stuff onto the book too that Max had written, but it talks about how to move from your home into assisted living or moving in with a relative. So we're providing a lot of credibility with the book. And
mm.
then somebody else said you should write a book because I have a lot of background in hoarding. I have
Mm.
hoarding on both sides of my family. I can tell you some. And I did. Everybody and we bought a lot of houses. Realtors would call us when there was a hoarding situation because they knew I could talk to the hoarder,
Yeah.
and
Both
work with
sides,
them.
that's pretty rare.
Yeah, it's not that rare, but it was pretty
Oh,
bad.
really?
Yeah, there's a lot of
Interesting.
hoarding people don't realize. But then, so everybody said you should write a book. So then we wrote a book called "Hoarding: So Much More Than Clutter." And the book isn't
Mm,
for hoarders. The reason I wrote it wasn't for the hoarders; it was for the family of hoarders. And again,
mm.
gives us an opportunity to go into groups and speak about hoarding and letting people know kind of our services. And we have a whole thing where we say, take what you want and leave the rest, and we'll donate what we can and take care of everything else. A lot of times hoarders just really want to make sure that their stuff's going to be taken care of and that it's not just going to
Yeah.
end up in the trash. They feel like, oh, I have to take care of my stuff. But I have to use my social work background to work with them
Mhm.
to get the help that they need and get into a safer spot. I mean, I've walked into places where, home health care will call us because they can't put a home health care worker in there. It's too dangerous. It's
Yeah.
rat infested or nasty or not safe. So that lends a lot more credibility to us. So we do
Interesting.
stuff like that, and we use that obviously to spike our um, thing. But the whole thing about the Carrot website and ranking, one of the things is we took it off my plate, right?
Mm,
We took somebody who actually worked for us. Uh, we actually hired her, believe it or not, to clean the offices out and organize us, because Dan and I, when we started hiring people, we're pack rats too. Got hoarding on both sides of our houses. So same thing with my business partner. We hired her to clean Dan's office, organize Dan's office, but
mhm.
we found out she was way smarter than that, and we had her start doing other stuff. And one of the things we had her start doing is figuring out the Carrot website and how to rank. And Trevor had the 50 keywords you should be ranking for. So we didn't know any
Yep.
better. Let's go rank for those 50 keywords. So we've been working on
Yeah.
that for 5 years now, and we're doing better and better. We've done, we've sent her off to get education. She's going to Carrot Camp here in a little bit.
Yep.
And we just gave her full, whatever resources you need. She's worked with Jared and other groups. We hired an SEO guy for a while. That didn't work for us. So, but she learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
But the Carrot website just really lends itself to that. We have other
Yeah.
websites that we don't care how well they rank, but our Laurel buys houses ranks really, really well, and she monitors it like a crazy person. I mean, she's all over it, making sure that we're ranking really well.
Yeah. That's awesome. I have a couple of questions. I'm having to choose because I could talk about hoarders forever and talk about how you empathize with them. I'll try to keep them real simple. I'll leave it to one question on hoarders. Do you have any way of going after hoarder homes specifically, or just by the nature of your business model, flipping, finding motivated sellers, you just
Yeah, we find them through our marketing. We have TV commercials. We don't talk about hoarding specifically, but any other situation,
yeah.
we do a lot of social media about hoarding.
Mhm.
Um, I think we included in our postcards. We do a lot of direct mail, and we'll rotate
Okay.
that message through for hoarding. Code enforcement used to be able to call me or recommend people to me. Yeah,
Mm.
even though the city attorneys decided that there wasn't really anything wrong with it and that we were doing a good job, they thought that that wasn't right. So we weren't able to do that anymore. But
Mm.
we do a lot of outreach to the senior community, um, and people who run into seniors to say, hey, if there's a hoarding situation and you can't sell the house, realtors, attorneys, we do a
Yeah.
lot of social media to encourage them, and then
So
promoting the
you're
book.
weaving it you're weaving it into a lot of your marketing.
Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
that niche is woven in. If you could only give like one tip to another investor to try and empathize with hoarders, what would you say is yeah, how do you empathize with
Yeah.
them?
Well, it's really tough because there's so much family dynamic, right? And so you've got to get on the same side as them and bring the energy down. You need to sit
Mm,
down and say, hi. Okay, there's nothing wrong here. I have sat on a little bit, I'm a big girl, and I've sat on little bitty stools like this with things hoarded above me on either side, with them just sitting in a little like office chair, and everything else around me is a complete chaos, and just try to bring in with them that everything's fine. I can
mm,
handle this. What's your brighter future?
mm.
If you didn't have to be responsible, because a lot of times they feel like they have to be responsible for their stuff. If you didn't have to be responsible for everything here and you could do whatever you wanted to do, what would you do? And find their brighter future, right?
Mm.
I remember I was speaking at one of the community outreaches. There's a woman with her daughter there, and she wants to solve a problem because her mother hoards. And they said we went in there with black bags and we started packing everything in the bags and we drag it out to the street. We were going to have a dumpster come, and as soon as we drag it out to the street, my mom was grabbing the bag and dragging it back. And I was so mad at her. I spent all that time and energy, and she wouldn't let me clean it up. It was all trash. And you're like, no, so much energy, so much. What's wrong? No. And then the other thing is, if you don't get them some help, they're going to hoard where they go. And so I get calls from assisted
Mm.
living places all the time. They're hoarding here. What do we do? Right? You got
Yeah.
to help because they're trying to fill a hole inside of themselves, you
Mm.
know? And if you look around, who are some of the biggest hoarders around? Homeless people. They'll bring all kinds of stuff. They'll drag stuff miles and set
Yeah.
all around them because they don't have anything. They have to hold on. It's 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 psychological. It's not because they're trying to be dirty. That's not it.
Yeah.
It's not that. So you gotta catch them where they are and try to build a better future with them, and not
Yeah.
what you
I
think
love
is the better future.
Yeah, I love how you said finding out from them, like getting them to imagine and just kind of get out of that environment, their physical environment for a second, think what does my brighter future look like? That's pretty
Mhm.
powerful.
Yeah.
Um, Tell me about kind of are there any highlights or pivotal moments with your online marketing journey as a whole? Are you tying the offline marketing back to your website, like your niche of hoarding? You mentioned that line at
Yeah,
all?
yeah, we do. We always are referring everything we do has our website on it and our phone number, right? Um, and I gotta tell you, we went on TV and our SEO went way up. Our number of leads from our SEO, right? Because they'll see us
Mm,
they'll get the postcard. Very often I'll walk into somebody's house, they've got our postcard, and we have this pink postcard that's very distinctive. It's definitely
hmm,
Laurel's postcard. They've been getting it for years, and they'll have seen us on TV, and they'll talk about seeing me on TV, and then they'll say, "Well, I saw your social media post. Can I get one of your books?" And then they'll have gone on the website and they'll know where I went to school, all kinds of things. People spend time on the website, and
yeah,
when the more people spend on the website, the more interesting information you can put on the website, the better your SEO goes. So you get people coming to the website from the other marketing. Then you have a website that we call it sticky, interesting
mhm,
things for them to do and see. Um, and then have a program for your website. Your SEO. It's not rando. You can't just you got to. It's a once we gave it to somebody else who it's their job to do this website and their job to learn how to. Then we expect. Why aren't you ranking number one? What's going on? What happened? Well, they changed the algorithm. Well, how did they change the algorithm? I don't know. Well, let's find out. You know,
yeah,
you
yeah,
just got to be all over it, and you can't get complacent because they're always changing
mhm,
something.
yeah,
I don't understand it anymore. Boy, I tell you. And then you just got to make sure that you put fresh stuff on your website. I know that they're always making me do content, videos.
mhm,
I'm, oh, Laurel, we need content. So blogs, and then, you know, uh, credibility where you get backlinks to your website.
mhm,
Working with other people, yeah, you could buy backlinks and stuff, but then it's not going to work for the long term. So everything that you do
yeah,
on your website has got to be community based stuff.
mhm.
All of that
Which
goes
is an
together.
easy plug for you because 'cause you're doing a lot of work in the community, so it's not
Hmm.
as hard for you to get those legitimate, credible backlinks.
Hmm.
Yeah, I kinda like the analogy. I didn't come up with this, team member Beth came up with it. She said, "Yeah, SEO is kinda like tending to a garden. Like, you have to do a lot of the work up front. You gotta plant the garden, but after that, you're sowing seeds, you're pruning, it's maintenance mode." And so, you're right. It's like we'd be remiss if we thought that, like, you didn't have to do anything after you get your ranking. If you get complacent, that's when someone else is gonna outrank you. But you're right. You need to keep it
Hmm.
updated with fresh content,
And every once
keep
in a while, a
everything.
rabbit's going to come in and start stealing your carrots, and so you got to get in there and make your garden rabbit proof or deer proof or whatever it is. Stuff will happen. Like
Yeah,
Google will change their algorithm. You got to know. You got to find it out, and you can't
yeah.
just keep. Look, you guys do a great job with all your packages, and I use those all in the beginning. And we got all these packages of your blogs and all these other great things that you do, but then you got to go
Mhm.
back in and make them your own, and you got to do
You do.
fresh content. It's
Yeah.
every year you got to weed your garden. You know, you got to okay,
Mhm.
maybe over here we'll plant corn next year. You know, like that. I
Right.
like that gardening thing. You could go forever on that.
You
Um,
could, yeah. No, but you're right. You gotta rewrite the content, personalize it, localize it. You're right, and we've got tools to make that easier now, like, we got AI
mhm.
rewrite tools and whatnot. But yeah, I think that's right. So tell me a little bit about, how have you personalized your website? Like you said, you walk into appointments with sellers, and it's like they know you, they know your background, which is I can relate to that only in a fraction amount from running podcasts. Like, it's so weird when you show up, you don't know the person, but they know you and they know your backstory. What's that been like?
Well, I got to tell you, it's pretty trippy too because I'm on TV.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so, people will stop in the middle of the street. Are you the lady on TV?
yeah.
But yeah, no, but we put there's an about Laurel page. There's about the team page. We have city pages for each of our little neighborhood areas, and we'll have me doing
Okay.
something there. You know, like well, I went to Elk Grove High, so I'll be saying, Laurel, did you know Laurel went to Elk Grove High? You know, and for
Mm,
the Elk Grove page, right? I mean, it's kind of crazy. We're always updating it. And I don't even know everything that they're doing to the website anymore, to tell you the truth,
yeah.
right? I mean, I was thinking, well, how come they do that? But they pay attention to where people go on
Mhm.
the website. And
Yeah.
where people go, they keep strengthening those areas, right? They have this eggy something tool that they use that they can
Hmm.
tell crazy egg, where they can tell where people
Oh, yeah.
go.
Crazy egg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Heat maps. Yeah.
a heat map to figure out where people go, how long they're there, right? And
Yeah.
Google really loves it when people go from one page to another page and they spend some time. That helps you rank higher, right?
They're going down the
Well,
research rabbit hole. Yeah.
right. We have lots of seller referrals. People love to watch seller referral videos, right? So we did videos of seller referrals. We made some of our blogs into vlogs. So there's some
Mm.
video content there, right? I mean, you can go to our website and check it out, but there's a lot that also happens behind. We have thousands, well, not thousands, hundreds of landing pages that direct to our website too, so that people will Google us very strange words and still go to our website. Google loves that, right?
Mm. Yeah. It's interesting. You mentioned how when you started doing TV, your SEO leads went up, which makes a lot of sense. Did you notice more traction from like direct leads, people going to the website directly, or people Googling you like a true organic lead? Or was it kind of just both?
It was both. And we're smart enough to just do pay per click for our name because
Hmm.
some other
Yep.
companies were doing pay per click for our names.
It's good defense. Yeah, which is messed up. We just talked Trevor and I just talked about that on one of the evergreen marketing lives we did in the community, but yeah, how you need to be doing PPC for your brand name. But anyway,
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's
Yeah,
just
no
crazy.
problem there, but it's crazy. And when you do that, um, it helps you do that. We also, spend a lot of time worrying about our Google profile and, how to get, what do
Oh,
you
your
call that?
Google
Google
business
your
profile?
business
Yeah, yeah,
profile. How to
yeah,
make that rank SEO. And you don't use
mhm,
but if you make this somebody's job, right?
yeah,
Or at least part of their job, or you make it your job to be curious and learn and watch podcasts and figure this stuff out. The more you do, the more traction you get with SEO, right? And I don't know.
yeah,
They always said pay per click will help your SEO, but I never found that to be true. Um, some of the best pay per click stuff doesn't actually go through your website; they go through a different one. So I didn't find that, but you definitely. And we have our website on the TV ad, all the whole ad, right?
yeah.
laurelbuyshouses.com, the whole ad.
Okay.
And then, we spend a lot of money retargeting people who've been to the website on Facebook and
Facebook?
stuff. hmm
Yep. Okay, yeah.
that also actually does help your SEO because you got a Facebook ad and they go to your website from there.
So you've got, there's a
Google
better word
likes
for
that.
this. I can't remember, but yeah,
I don't
you've
know what
got
they
the
call it either.
multifaceted, the
Yeah.
holistic approach. You're
Well, we call it
multi-channel. Is
force
that the word I'm trying to
multiplying.
get?
Yeah, I don't know. We call it a force
Yeah.
multiplier. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
but and again, the more money we have for marketing, the more we can do, right? So
Yeah. So
we
you're
didn't
really hitting
start
every
there.
channel.
Yeah, when we didn't start there. We've been doing it a little while.
Well, I think what would be helpful for people listening to you, because like you've been doing this so long, it's like, oh, of course you're crushing on all these different channels, but what you just said, you didn't start there. Could you lay out like the timeline, like bullet point for me, like
Yeah,
what
so
marketing channels you
December
started with?
December of 15 is when I found Carrot and
Uh-huh.
started work and I bought the Carrot website and started messing with that. And we did we buy Sac houses and Laurel buys
Mhm.
houses, and we kind of did them side by side to see which would be better because I figured, we hired this actress to do a video who was really pretty for the We Buy Sac Houses thing. We thought, Laurel's not. I didn't think I would be that popular as a brand, but innately from just from my life experience, I knew we needed to brand, and it turned out that the Laurel brand worked. I've been wearing this hat since I was 22. People in town know
Mm,
me as the girl contractor, who wears the black hat,
yeah.
like at Home Depot or whatever. And I just realized you got
Yeah.
to have something memorable to hook them, right?
Mm,
And back
yeah.
in the early days, YouTube videos would rank really much higher on the SEO,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so if you had a video, people would click on the video and go to your website like that. So, we did whatever seemed to work. So we did a lot of videos and, that changed over time. But we had YouTube and Yelp and Facebook. It was before Instagram, I think. So then we started doing those handwritten letters.
Yeah.
And then we had to hire somebody to answer the phone because I would
Mm.
be answering the phone and walking into a house to buy the house, right? It would, sometimes people would scream at me, by the way, because I wrote them a letter. I had the audacity to write them a letter about their house.
They don't got enough to do in the day.
So we hired somebody to answer the phone and to do office stuff for us and stuff like that. And then we hired somebody to clean Dan's office for a short term, but we just hired her on, had her start working on kind of the social media stuff and backing up the phone person and learning the website. She would just type in what I would tell her at night, right? And then she started, well, I need to learn this. So she would learn it. She was a really creative person. And then we hired somebody to. It was like so many leads I couldn't go, and the more successful we got, we I couldn't go on all the leads and manage the company and have a life. So we hired somebody to do that a couple of years ago. So I guess he's been with us like 2.5 years now. Acquisitions manager.
Yeah.
Took a while for him to get really good at it and find our way of doing things too, because
Yeah.
we have a particular brand, and the more we branded, we found the pink postcard thing, and then 3 years ago we started being on TV, and that like was night and day there. Even our postcards got better.
Mm,
So
yeah.
we started doubling ever since we've been on TV. We've been doubling every 2 years.
Holy cow. When did
Yeah.
what about PPC and Facebook retargeting? When did those come in?
Well, we did that in the early days.
Yeah.
Andy McFarland out of Utah. We were learning from him. He was mentoring us. After we'd been in it about 6 months, and we started getting mentored by Andy McFarland and Justin Bill Allen and those guys at Seven Figure Flipping. And
Mm,
he created a PPC company, so we let him go for it, and we did it with a different brand, Fast Fare Sacramento.
mhm.
And that was really great for a while, but then that whole world changed again, and so we stopped doing PPC and just really went after SEO. We just felt like every dollar that we were spending on PPP would disappear. It's just that moment, right? And
Yeah.
some of our competitors were kind of nasty and would be clicking on our stuff, and
Yeah.
we had to, even when we were blocking IPs, I don't know what, they were really smart. So we decided SEO, if we spent the 6 to 8 grand that we're spending on PPC on SEO,
Mm.
that would be better. And then, I don't know, about 3 years ago, we hired a media person who you met, Shasta, who's now really doing. She's the one who manages like our book. She was the one that managed
Mm.
that project. She's the one that writes our TV commercials and does all our social media and all of that.
Mm.
We just had more and more money to spend. We spend a certain percentage of our income on marketing. The more money we're making, the more marketing we could do. And I always, when I speak at the RIAs here, because we've always sponsored the local RIAs since before, when we were just flipping and before, when we were buying stuff from realtors, we sponsored the RIAs, teaching people how to flip and giving back to the investor community as well. And you would just get more and more traction just from everything that you were doing. And Erin, who, I think she must have found it out from you guys, because I think it was from what you guys were doing. And so I think we've been retargeting it for 4.5 years now, but we were
Okay.
doing it
Yeah.
ourselves. That wasn't
Yeah.
so good. Then Andy did some for us. And we learned a lot from watching him do it. And it's not our biggest thing, but it brings people around, and they keep
Yeah.
changing
It
how they
kind of
do
helps
that, by the
nurture them.
way. Yeah. Just
Oh
nurture.
yeah. Yeah. Facebook's always changing.
You can't even talk
Okay.
about houses anymore or anything in your retargeting. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
It's
there's
gotten
lots of
harder.
rules, and you got to stay on top of them and make sure that you're following them, or you get blocked. And I guess we're on TikTok now too. I didn't even know we were on TikTok. But somebody says, "Laurel, I saw your TikTok." I go, "What? I was on TikTok? I didn't know." But yeah.
That's funny. It sounds like you've built a pretty good team and you've passed things off pretty well.
Mhm.
And I like how they're doing the TV part too, because you already answered it before I could ask about, is an agency doing it? Are you guys doing it in house? But
No, we
it's
have
cool
an
that they have the
agency,
skill.
and we write our own commercials and
Mm,
stuff, and
okay.
we work with but we have an agency, a media company that negotiates the rates and makes sure we're on where we need to be. And I mean, it's Tony Javier who does it for us,
Okay.
10x. So
Yeah, that's cool.
mhm.
That's awesome. He's actually in our marketplace. I don't know anyone else in the real estate investor industry that at that level that's doing TV that well. We did a podcast with him a while back, but yeah, if you go to marketplace.care.com, he's Tony 10x TV. He's working nationwide now. So
Mhm.
yeah, he's
Yeah, no,
killing it
and yeah,
on
I got to tell
TV.
you, I can't even walk into a restaurant anymore without being recognized. It's
That's
crazy.
awesome. Well,
Yeah, I get
shout out
recognized
to Tony.
everywhere. Yeah, he does a good job.
That's cool.
So
Nice.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, in fact, I was at a investor fuel mastermind where Trevor was talking last summer, and Trevor was talking about, hey, you need to have a personal assistant, you need to have a COO. So that's why we
Mm,
hired a COO. I was really getting, I can't manage. Well, I have no idea what people are doing. I need somebody
yeah.
who can make sure they have the resources they need. I'm too busy. So
Spread too thin.
yeah. So, but it's just all growing over time. You don't need to be there. Like I said, I literally had 3 old ladies handwriting notes when we started doing our direct marketing, and
Yeah.
handwriting the envelopes and putting the address and the name, and, um, and taking them, putting stamps on them and mailing them. It was, you don't have to. I have a beagle. If you look at my website, you'll see I have a beagle. And in the beginning, just before we started doing the Carrot website, I would walk around a neighborhood that I was interested in finding a house to flip with my beagle, and I would ask people, "Hey, I'm having a hard time finding a house to buy. Do you know anybody who might be wanting to sell their house?" With my beagle, and people would
Mm,
tell me, "Oh yeah, so and so just died." Right? Yeah,
mm,
oh, those people are renters and they're moving out. And I know that they don't want to fix the house up again. We found, I mean, there's a million ways to get started. Just make sure you put
Yeah.
it back into marketing.
That's crazy. That's crazy. What's your do you have a specific ROI or ratio you're looking for to get out of your marketing dollars?
Yeah, well, I
What
mean, we obviously we'd love to 5x everything or 7x.
yeah.
Not everything is that. If it's 3x, we'll do it. 5x, we'll definitely do it. So,
Okay. Yeah, that's in line with what we teach usually a 4-to-1 ratio in order to scale because especially if you got a team, if you're just solo entrepreneur or you got someone else like you could do 2-to-1, maybe
mhm.
3-to-1, but um
Yeah, and we try to spend at least 20% of our income on marketing. So,
yeah, that's well, it's working. Everything you're doing
mhm,
sounds like it's working. You have that multifaceted approach like we were talking about. That's cool.
mhm,
And I love how you've built a brand. And I think you're probably maybe the best example I've ever seen, or at least in a long time, of someone who's built a really personable brand and incorporated that into their marketing really well. I think when most people think brand, they think, oh, it's the logo and the colors. Like that's part of it, but that's not the brand. The
mm.
brand is the values, the personality, what you stand for, your niches, your expertise. It's all of that magic kind of lumped into something that's really hard to quantify. And the fact that you plug that into your marketing and like with your beagle and the hat, you know how to differentiate yourself. TV ads, that's just obviously from the results show it, but that's super powerful. Love how you
Yeah, and
showcase your
when
brand
somebody
there.
tells me, "Oh, you're exactly the way I thought you would be,"
Mm,
then you know that you've hit the right brand, right?
yeah,
Because you're
that's
exactly the
powerful.
way I thought you would be. Oh, I'm so glad you came.
Yeah,
Um,
that's powerful.
then and when it's not that way, then okay, this is not resonating with people, right? And you got to know who you're marketing to, right? So, we're on TV. Young people have no idea who I am, right? They all stream. They
Yeah,
have no idea who I am. They don't own houses. So, you don't need to market to everybody. You just need to market to the people that have, that are in that are your target market, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah. Which can be a challenge when you get into like your YouTube videos and your website. We want it to look a certain way for ourselves, and we forget that that's not always the case. Like think about what they want to see. So yeah, it's interesting.
if you have too many eyes, or we do this, we do that, then you're missing it because it's not about your target, the people that you're talking
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
right? You
they
don't
should
like to
be the
talk to
hero of the
somebody who's
story.
always going, "Oh, I do this and I do that." No, you don't listen to that. Well, what are you doing? How can I help?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's that's probably one of the best, like, single-handed marketing tips you could give or, like, copywriting tips at least, like, don't talk about yourself, make it about them.
Mhm.
Um, I wanna so we're coming close to time here, I wanna wrap it up pretty soon, but I'm enjoying our conversation so much, there's so many things to talk about. Can I pick your brain for a second on, how you kinda scaled your team? Maybe what are a couple of things you've done right as far as hiring to let if people have stuck with you? Like, are there any certain things that you hire by that's kind of unique to you?
Yeah, it's kind of terrible, but people either last 60 days or they last forever, right? It's
That's
pretty
great.
crazy. Like,
That's
we've
great.
hired 4 people who left, right? Really fast. They were gone, and that tells me they weren't a fit for our culture and what we're doing, and um, um, like that. But even in the construction team, I had on my construction team, people have been with me 15 years, right?
Wow.
Um, so uh, that's about treating people like family, and we do have core values. Family, well-being, integrity, results, and
Hmm.
creativity. Those are our core values, and we meet and we talk about those core values in our mission statement and who we are, what we're going to get done this week, and everybody stands in a core value for the week,
Mm,
and we really live from those. So Um,
Wait, say that again. That might have just gone over my head. You said somebody stands in a core value for the
yeah, we
week.
say,
What did you
okay,
mean?
so this is what I'm going to get done this week, and I'm standing in results, or I'm standing in
Mm,
well-being, or I'm standing in family, or I'm standing in creativity. Or sometimes will be growth and creativity, or growth and results. Right?
yeah.
Will the values are there to empower the team, and the team
Mm,
we create our goals every year together, every quarter together. We run off the 13-week year. It's a book that's out there called the 13-week year, so that nobody goes too long before they get feedback about how they're doing. And
mm,
people who love that kind of accountability, and will we help each other no matter what. Somebody has a family issue, we'll answer the phones for them, or whatever it is that they need to do. And some people find that a little too intense, and they don't stay. Or other people think
yeah.
they just want to, nobody just shows up here to put in time. We're all here to do something. And
Mhm.
we have huge bonuses. We bonus the team really well when we are successful, um, and uh, work on their own financial well-being. By the way, try to give financial
Mm.
education to our team. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's really important to us, our team. And we try to hire A players, not necessarily what they know how to do, but who they are. We look for A players, and then we find the right seat on the bus. Erin's had every job in this company, by the way. Before, and just about a year ago, she started being the leads manager. Right? She'd done every other job
Yeah.
in this company before that, and
Oh,
it turned
goodness.
out that. So now she's our leads manager and also takes care of our website. She does both brilliantly, but
Oh my goodness.
who knew she could? I mean, she gets people. We call it. How many people did you make cry this week? Right, on the phone, because she'll
Mm,
get their whole story from them. So you
mm.
hire A players, and then they'll find their own seat on the bus eventually. You know.
That's awesome. I'm just, like, letting that all digest and sink in. I love how you could recite the core values because a lot of people can't, and they just, like, I don't know, they seem kind of half-hearted or not
Well,
half-hearted,
then
but
they're
I
not
feel like
core
people could.
values, right? They're just
Right.
words, right? Yeah.
They're things you try to go by, but to you, you really are you're hiring and firing by them. I've never heard that before where they're standing in them for the week. Like they're there to empower the team. I love that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, that's cool. How do you find A players? Where are you going to find people? Just network, friends and family?
Yeah, well, like the COO, I kind of knew who I wanted. I went to get her, but friends and family have been our best folks. But we use WiseHire, and we use we do a predictive index or a disc test, um,
Mhm.
to look for certain areas of that, and we let the team interview them before Dan and I interview them.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We're looking for a personal assistant right now, an office assistant. Kind of somebody that can help everybody. And we have a VA too. We did the same thing with her. She's part of the core values. Um,
Yeah.
but we're looking for an office assistant right now, and it's been challenging. We've been looking for 6 months, but we're going to find the right
Mm.
player, right?
If you need help, you may have already heard. So Trevor's executive assistant Jen worked together for 10 or 11 years. She recently left Carrot because her own venture took off. The Kick Assistant, it's like Kick Ass Kick Assistant.
Oh
But
wow.
anyways, that's what she's doing is helping a lot of people, primarily people in the real estate space, find assistance. So I'll send
Well,
you
we
the
could
website.
use
Or
that. Really, I need a personal assistant back. I gave my personal assistant up, so I need
yeah.
someone back in the office to handle my stuff. Yeah,
Well, I have no problem giving Jen a plug because she's a world class
great.
executive assistant and
Yeah,
yeah.
I'd love to get kick assistant. We'll definitely get Sam on that right away.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, shoot. I think I've enjoyed the conversation. I
Hey,
think that's pretty
it's been pretty
valuable.
fun.
Um, yeah. I say we wrap it. Is there anything else you want to add? Anything
No,
else
I
you want
just
people to know?
here's the thing: treat it like a business, right?
Mm,
Invest your time, your thought. Brand yourself. Give to your community. What are your core values? What do you want to have happen? And what are the best tools for you? And then be thoughtful about how you do things because it's your business. So you're investing your time, energy, and money. Let's do a good job of it, right? And have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're doing stuff that
Mm.
you don't feel comfortable with, then stop doing that and do something that you are comfortable with, right?
Yeah, and
Like,
something that you like and that gives you energy.
but also something you're proud of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing. It's really cool to see how you built a business you're proud of and a team and a brand that you're proud of. I think that's something to aspire to. So can't wait to meet Erin on your team when she comes out to Carrot Camp.
Good.
I'm excited for that. But yeah, thanks, Laurel. And everybody listening, if you got value out of this, subscribe, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Yeah, tell us if you like the podcast. So thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you soon.